Shruggity, shruggity, shrew. Man, I took some time off from posting because while I want to be able to do this, I do actually have real world commitments that kind of take precedent. I just had a baby, and she's asleep right now, which gives me a little bit of extra time. And currently, I'm engaged in my master's. I just banged out an assessment, finished that one, submitted it, which, it gives me like 20 minutes of free time, which is really good. Here's the thing, right? I do not have an insignificant number of people in my life who operate YouTube channels. Are they successful? I wouldn't say that. But do they do it? Absolutely. I think the head count now is up to like 9 people. And these aren't people who are like interconnected. Like a lot of them just don't know each other. And I am like their only mutual association, which makes it even weirder. But I think what we're seeing is people are recognizing essentially the need to establish space within any kind of conversation, like public space that you take up and you exist within. And we have transcended the bounds of the physical arena. Now you need to essentially absorb the digital realm. And taking up space in the digital realm, it used to be I have a Facebook page. Then we realized that Facebook is trash. And so now I have friends who are posting poetry and opening Pokemon cards online because that's what you do. You turn 30 and suddenly you start a YouTube channel. And look, I can't fault them too bad because I am literally the poster child for, hey boys, let's get drunk and start a podcast, which is super cute. My handicap when it comes to posting online is that back in 2021, I was one of those people who was in real life cancelled despite having basically no online presence. Because, like every good group of university educated people, one of your boys is eventually going to start dating a spy. And when I say a spy, I don't mean the Chinese variety because they're hot. What I mean is the filthy, disgusting, nose pierced, shaved head, overly interested in social justice, racially confused. Like, we know you're brown, but like, where the fuck did you come from? Because you're telling me one place and, well, you're acting like it's from somewhere else. And, all your boys are eventually going to date one of those at some point. And I tells you, that shit will ruin friendships. So naturally, I was cancelled in real life, which led my wife to have a little bit of PTSD about the idea of me openly and freely communicating with people on the internet. Because on the internet, that's where the crazies lurk, like, yeah, let's be real. Like, the crazies are out here in the real world. I walked down the shop, like the local shop, and I shit you not, I bumped into someone wearing a mini skirt that was shorter than their penis. And I was a little bit threatened. Not because they were a man in a miniskirt, but because their ding dong was bigger than me and they felt confident just flapping that shit in public. So it was like, there's no good reason to not post online. Not anymore. Like, I've already survived one cancellation. What are they going to do? I jokingly, there is a live stream where I was talking to a friend of mine, and he's like, "Yeah, look, they probably can't do anything to you, I guess." And I'm like, "Yeah, probably not. I'm fucking impervious, man." Um, but for everyone else, the whole posting online thing really centers on developing a sense of identity that can be professionally verified. Like a lot of these people, I will always be synonymous because let's be real, you get that PTSD when the spy comes in. You get that PTSD, boys. But a lot of the people that I interact with who are posting online, they're doing it in like a pseudo professional way. The goal, the whole purpose of their interaction is essentially to establish a carve out space where they're quite open about wanting to be monetized or wanting to use it to catalog professional advancement. And even I myself have a channel where I am de anonymized. It's separate from this one. Um, and I post with my face professional content that's oriented around my subject field, being education. Um, essentially, to be able to establish a foothold in what is becoming more and more obvious to everyone. And that being the online environment is your professional resume. It doesn't matter how many articles you write, how many things you publish. If no one sees them, they're worthless. And so you want that professional footprint to be as accessible as possible. That means the people who are out there teaching English probably need to be making videos talking about, you know, writing a book. Because we exist in a sort of time period now where you have access to the best teachers in the world. You have access to the best vetting systems in the world. There's no there's no benefit to not being online anymore because the social proof that would be attributed to you by, university degrees or your, workplace history background, blah, 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 that's all going out the window. And we know it's gone out of the window because for the last 10 years, they've been able to link racial hiring practices above everything else, which means that the quality of education you got at university has to have not meant anything. Because, fuck, she's brown. Bring her into the office. Give her an interview. We'll get a government grant. Don't worry about that kid that's done 5 years of study with 150 grand of student debt. Nah, we don't need them. We're going to get that equities grant. And, those people get chopped and changed and cut off and thrown out whenever. Like, essentially, they existed to absorb grant money. But that entire situation and its existence demonstrated that your viability as a candidate relies very little on whether or not you've got a qualification and almost entirely on whether or not you are capable of absorbing grant money and then injecting that into the institution. So we're back, everybody. We're so back. I'll make a serious take at some point. We'll just like bang out a video. We're just gonna bang out a little short right now and put something up on the YouTubies because otherwise you neglect these things,